Okay, welcome everyone. This is the open house for runinfinity.com. My name is AJ Archibald, and I'm representing Latona's web brokerage. And on the line, we have the seller, Tanvir Kazmi. Say hello, Tanvir.
Hi, AJ.
Hey. And so let's do a little bit of housekeeping. If you haven't already dialed into the audio bridge, please do so now. And you can also use your computer's integrated audio to listen in. During the call, you will be on mute, so if you would like to submit questions, please do so using the questions feature in the webinar's control panel. And we will generally field all questions verbally at the end of the webinar unless one is pertinent to the current slide. Here are the kind of breakdowns for Run Infinity. It has an annual revenue of $7,218. Annual expenses are $3,160 with an annual profit of $4,058. And let's see, the listing price is $15,000. And let's get into a little bit of the history of the site with Tanvir. So tell us how this site started, Tanvir.
So I started running personally 10 years back. And when I started running, the first thing I did was to blog about it, about my personal experiences. So I started writing. Initially, it was Blogspot. Then, as the numbers kept on growing and people started following me, and I got into AdSense when I realized, okay, for some big events, there was a lot of traffic coming in. Especially in those days, it was mostly India events. That's what I was writing about. So I thought it was time to break off from my personal thing and maybe hive off a bit into a separate blog which was focused on the professional aspects of things. So what I did was I broke off. TanvirKazmi.com became my personal blog, which it is even now, and I took out the events part, the calendar part, and the rest of the stuff which was non-personal, and started developing that as part of Run Infinity. So Run Infinity is primarily news, results, events, updates for anything related to running, marathons mostly, other small distance races. That's the entire portfolio of Run Infinity. Besides this, I also do product reviews for brands. Most of them are India centric for now, but once in a while I do get requests from brands outside India, based in Europe, US, and I do product reviews from them as well.
Excellent. And this shows, the site started back in, it was at 2009, 2010. Is that when the site first started?
So I started blogging in 2005, and that's why someone pointed out in an email said, why do you have articles from 2005? The reason is that I started blogging in 2005, and I retained some of the articles when I moved my stuff from my original blog to this. So runinfinity.com has come into existence in 2009, but the original blog, which I started working on, is from 2005, and articles from there continue on this website.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And as everyone can see, the site has had, very, very steady traffic. Usually roughly around 40,000 uniques a month. A lot of traffic from the U.S. With representation from India, United Kingdom, Malaysia, Canada. And it looks like primarily a lot of the traffic is organic search. So you're not spending too much money in terms of advertising for the site, are you? Is it pretty much all organic?
Just about zero, I guess. I'm, about my profile and my website, I am a runner basically. I haven't really gone into thinking about how to promote this website, how to sell it, how to market it. That's simply out of the picture till now in the last so many years. And whatever growth it has happened by virtue of, okay, me realizing what are the incoming traffic sources, what are the interesting keywords which can probably bring traffic into my website, and trying to ensure that okay, I have all the events covered, all the big events covered, updated frequently. That's the key. That's the key motivation for me throughout the year to keep my website up to date in terms of information about all the big events happening, and keep publishing these news articles frequently to keep the people coming in.
Okay. Let's see. And here are some of the major keywords that are used to get traffic to the site. So Paris Marathon, Beta Breakers, and these are all representative of different kinds of races. Is that accurate?
Yes, so all of these are like different distances. Some may be marathons, some may be smaller distances races. For example, Bay to Breakers is not a marathon but a smaller distance run, half marathons. And since the business of running is primarily US, so that's why you see the traffic is also primarily US, even though we have all the big events, all the key events covered from across the world.
Is there some seasonality to the traffic on the website?
Yes. So the running season is primarily centered around March, April, May timeframe. That's when the really big races, Boston Marathon, London Marathon, or in the other part of the year, September, October, November, when Chicago Marathon or the New York Marathon happen. So these are the two events around which I get a lot of traffic, more than the usual numbers. Um, Rest of the time, it's on the lower side compared to the average through the year.
Okay. And I guess if someone were to, when someone was to buy the site, they might focus more so on maybe European or a different part of the run calendar, right? So if the season's down in the U.S. for say certain months, there are other
Mhm.
races that pick up in other parts of the world that might also be able to be covered. That would
Exactly, exactly. So what I have been observing, I haven't been able to react to that because seriously, I don't, I'm not justifying my time on this website. What I observe, for example, just a small illustration is I get a lot of footfall for Malaysia events. And my Malaysia calendar would probably be almost what I don't know, maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 events. And I'm sure there would be hundreds of events in Malaysia or more than that. There are 300 events in India, and the running culture in India is nowhere at par to what Malaysia has right now. So if I'm able to find time, if I'm able to focus on Malaysia, just one specific country, I'm sure the traffic from just that geography would increase tremendously.
got it.
Similarly, there needs to be some focus around some of the other big running nations which I haven't been able to focus on now. For example, right till now, the majority of the races are US centric. UK has a big majority percentage of races. Other European countries have. So I think the key approach going forward would be to focus country by country, try to develop content around that.
Makes sense. And here again is some of the major pages that are getting traffic, and as Tanvir represented, the Boston Marathon, Chicago Marathon, New York Marathon. Interesting, the Berlin Marathon got a lot of traffic as well. Is Germany a very big market for running?
Yes, Germany is a big market, and Berlin is, of course, one of the top five, six marathons in the world. So yes, uh, Germany is big. Not because we don't have too many events from Germany right now on the calendar.
Hmm.
I'm not familiar. I haven't spent time on that, like I said,
Hmm.
but I'm sure all of these things need specific focus, and which is sadly missing till now.
Gotcha, gotcha. And this is the Majestic SEO rankings, where 15,000 backlinks, 350 referring domains. So a nice steady flow of traffic should be coming in from those backlinks. Here's a backlink breakdown, mostly text links going directly to the website. And the anchor text again is Run Infinity, uh, Chicago Marathon, New York City Marathon. So that's why it's ranking highly for those keywords. And here's the SEM Rush analytics. Again, mostly search engine traffic, very little to no ad traffic. So it's all nice and natural and organic. And here's a picture of the uniques. So again, kind of what we were talking about earlier, there's a season where there's lots of traffic, 80,000 uniques, constantly kind of peaking up at that. And then 614, typically that's the summer. So I understand why 1214 there's a drop because that's the winter. But why was there a drop in 614?
Uh,
So that
six,
was
so
June,
614 is June, right?
right?
So that's what I say. It's after May, it's a slightly lower time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, as it gets into the winter months.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. And views follow this exact same pattern, roughly around 110,000 views. And as we see, it's spiking, getting ready to spike back up as we speak.
So just to add, for example, April this year has been the biggest month in last 12 months.
Perfect. Absolutely. Absolutely. The platform that you're running on, is that WordPress or what's the platform that Run Infinity runs on?
Okay, so it is WordPress and customized.
Okay.
So what I did about couple of years back when I started that, when I realized that maintaining the calendar was, how I maintained the calendar earlier, it was just a list, an HTML page with tons of events written in it, and it was really a pain because I had to maintain calendars for so many countries, and I had written some scripts so that I can dynamically generate all those pages and all. It was complicated and messy. So I hired a developer from the US, uh, and got myself a nice calendar system developed for the website, and it helped me organize the, so whatever new events I create now, they automatically go into the calendar. They become visible under the, this calendar system is very unique. Let me just spend a couple of minutes on that. um, if you look at runinfinity.com/calendar, so you'll see all the countries, and all the countries get their own URLs. So one of the key motivation for me is to generate as many unique URLs from this calendar system as possible, so as to reflect that reflect that in the Google database for searches primarily. So what we have is country-wise calendar/US, calendar/UK, and for every country. At an additional level, the next level of branching is a calendar slash US slash half marathon, full marathon, 5K, 10K. So that's the next level of granularity in which the calendars are organized. And there's also a state level. For example, in India, I can go up to the state level. I'm not sure if it's state level for all the countries. I remember I got it state level for the US and for India, but I'm sure uh, the database has been written consistently neutral, and so we can add state level. So the URL combinations being generated as a result are basically huge. Country level, state level, event wise under state, even by wide under country, uh, and that really helped with the presentation, and hopefully the return rate of users, the experience of the users. The presentation improved a lot. Earlier, every event page was just HTML, WordPress, basic. Now it's organized in sections, and there's an interesting dashboard in which users can put information about the prize money, the various route map, elevation, all those things related to a running event is now presented in different sections. So I believe there's a lot of good quality work. The developer I hired was really high quality. He charged a lot, but he did the work amazingly well, and I'm very happy about that.
So you're
So,
able to
so
get
that's
a lot of user generated content that's extraordinarily localized. Is that a pretty good summation? So the user's able to put in the content in terms of the event information, and but it can the URL is spit out on a very localized level.
Yes, so earlier the user just dropped us a external visitor dropped us a note, okay, add my event, and he made some information. Now we have developed a pretty good form, and any submitted event directly goes into a database after approval. So one is that is really good.
Yeah,
The other is we do create a lot of events ourselves, not as an administrator of the system, and they go into the system easily without too much hassle. So both ends. Earlier we used to just skip it and forget about all those emails and didn't come to it. Now it's part of the system and it's just handled automatically.
that's great. That's great. Here's a breakdown of the revenue, and can you talk about how the site makes money? Kind of looking at the chart, what has been, why does it peak and ebb the way that it does? Give us a sense of the.
Okay, all right. So since I've started working on this blog, my realization and connection with earning was basically through organic traffic coming through Google searches. That was the key motivation. That's how I started. And then I started thinking about how to make that happen. And I thought about, okay, how I should structure my URLs, the content, the title which is visible to Google, and I focused on that. So every event page you'll see will have certain keywords. They will talk about registration or start date for the event, and those sort of keywords which are important and which I think as a runner connect more. That's what people are trying to search for. So I make sure that I have all those keywords right there in the URL or as part of the title of the page, which is visible to Google. So the revenues primarily are centered around Google AdSense. Let me just go through my numbers, and I see from in last 1 year they hold between 82% going up to 90%, 85%. That's the range of that's a breakdown of how the earnings are split. Most of it is AdSense. I've also enabled info links on on this website, just the links, not banners and all those stuff from InfoLink. But those are small numbers, there's hardly 10 or 15% at the most left. A couple of text link ads, again, very small level for to fill the remaining 15%. Uh, Amazon affiliate links, I have a few placed. I have a link to the store placed in my menu. So we do keep getting a few sales here and there. Nowadays, it's just like loose change, $10, $15 a month,
Okay.
and not more than that. So that's more or less the breakup of the earnings.
Okay. Excellent. And the expenses. Can you talk about that for a second?
Okay. So so I have two people working for me. I call them employees. Legally, they are not. They're wives of my friends. So they help me out with this, and I pay them for this. And they work in 15-day rotation basis. One of them works for the first 15 days, the other one works for the next 15 days. Once in a while they swap depending on their personal priorities. I pay them about $80 for the 15-day cycle, so 160 going on the expense side per month on that for the salaries. I use HostGate or shared hosting, so that's hardly any cost towards the expense. So that is primarily my expense side. The hosting part, which is HostGate or shared hosting, and the salaries I hand over to these two people. I would like to talk a bit about what they do, but I guess that's on some other slide.
And why does the expenses drop at the beginning of the year?
Okay, so earlier I was on dedicated server hosting. Now, when I realized that that after going through a few renewal cycles of the same, that it's a lot of money. It's about 150, 160 odd dollars a month for basic dedicated server on HostGator. That's when I decided it's not worth, with the kind of money I'm earning, it's not worth maintaining. And I went back to the shared hosting, which is cheaper and it's been working fine without probably a single event reported since I switched from dedicated hosting to shared hosting. Event reported means complaints, website blocking, those sort of things from HostGator.
Perfect. So yeah, so tell us about the day-to-day operation of the site. What's required? How many hours?
Okay, so the work around the website is, first of all, is calendar updation. So there are about 1500 2000 odd events on the website, and we go through the cycle of updating all of them one by one. So people, and updating means primarily looking at the event dates, updating them to make sure that they appear for the next year at the right position in the calendar. For big events, I maintain a separate list. I maintain a list of top 100 events. So for them, we pay more attention because they bring the more traffic, they bring the higher revenues. So we go through a higher quality event update for those pages. We look into each section in detail, see what's changing, whether the route has been changing, whether the event logo has been changing. So to make them appear really relevant to all the audience. So event updates is the main activity on this website. Then there is the sustaining activity of uh, 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 generating regular updates for our website visitors, um, to tell them it's relevant, it's latest news, and we write newswires. So each newswire is basically a collection of all the updates since the last update in the 2-3 days period. And our people, these two people who work with me, basically I have handed to them a Google feed with the keywords. It's an RSS feed with the keywords for marathons and news and those sort of things. They simply browse through it, pick out the top headlines, and draft the newswire from there. So that's a pretty straightforward activity for them. They just go through the top news and put it out as a newswire. So that's the other part of and to answer on how many hours, I would think this would be something like an hour's activity a day for both of them. So which means 30 hours a month.
Okay.
What else? What else? Minor system maintenance, database cleanup, the regular stuff, which these two people who work for me, they were just internet literate. They did not know anything about WordPress, nothing about how to manage this system. But I just introduced them how to do it, told them about the various things which are part of the WordPress dashboard, and now they are totally able to do it without my intervention at all. My intervention with them is just telling them, okay, now start the calendar update. It's been some time. Now do um, I also focus on India specific events, more so because I'm from India, and people expect I am what can I say? I'm known across India for maintaining this blog, and people have expectation that the India calendar on this website would be updated for every little thing. So I go through the cycles of asking them to do India update for now, do the world update for now, keep writing newswires, keep up the database cleanups going, and that's all there is to the website.
Perfect. Site growth and future expectations. What do you think would help the site go moving forward? Where would you like to see the site grow if you were still a part of it?
Okay, so with the current level of focus I had, I don't, if things continue the same way, I guess it would be just building a continuous source of revenues without really going for it. Um, one thing I touched upon in this presentation was trying out country specific focus. That can I am really have confidence that can bring in significant growth in one direction. So you choose the country, bring in the events, keep them updated, have somebody regularly monitor that country events from wherever. There would be several listings for example, Malaysia, for Singapore. Asia has a lot of potential, I believe. Um, so events is one, and then I feel a need for for improving the look of the website. So it's Run Infinity is very plain Jane. That's what I see it as. I haven't spent time on improving the looks. The developer I had improved the looks of my calendar pages, my event pages, but overall, I want to have a home page, for example, which is exciting, which captures the various elements of the website. It's not there yet. So investing a bit on the display part would probably make a good difference. Other than that, I saw a missed opportunity in terms of more revenues. I tried contacting active.com. They do race registrations for a wide variety of races in the US, and which is my primary connect, you know.
Hmm.
But the thing is, I am in India and I cannot do that right now. They have to have a US address or a US number or something. I don't remember exactly. There are tax implications. I was not able to get it working with them. But if you are a US resident, for example, you can be an affiliate of active.com for each event registration which happens via our website. For any of the events, they mentioned something like $50. So I guess, I believe it would be a significant revenue source if we are able to set it up and get it going.
Okay.
So active.com, yes, it's I see that as a big part which can, if we try leveraging it, will work out well. Other
Excellent.
than that, there I see a couple of more opportunities. I want to maintain a forum for runners, which I haven't been able to again come to. And the final thing I would like to mention is trying to make the website more generic. Try to create sections on the website which relate to key activities in running. For example, a training section which has details. Right now, there's a training section with a few articles. I want it to be more a wider variety of articles around training, various training techniques, the good, the bad of training, running injuries, nutrition, hydration. If I have all the time in the world, I would want to do all that stuff. It would take time, obviously. It can happen only gradually, and you need somebody not really with big expertise, but with some time who can go through the relevant information available publicly, organize it, present it well, and that's it. So any user who is landing in on Run Infinity will stay immersed on some of the contents which he can find visible in front of him. Right now, I see people come in, look at events, look at results, and go off. There's the infrastructure to keep them immersed is lacking.
Got it. So you're trying to find more things to keep more user engagement and have them have more recurring reason to come back.
But I see the opportunities. I never get the time.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
And tell us why you're selling the site now.
Okay, so I work for a semiconductor software company. This was my passion, which I started with 10 years back when I started running. Initial few years were very immersive. I was involved in creating the content personally, and setting the direction to okay what I want to do going ahead. Now, gradually with time, that has gone down. My commitments in my workplace has gone up. So that is one thing. But the key thing which made me decide upon selling the website now is that I'm looking at leaving development field and going into events organization. And for that I can do with some money which can help me organize some of the big events here in India. So I need this money right now as part of the investment cost for organizing some of these events, marathons, half marathons, those sort of things. So I'm at that stage of my life where I'm looking at leaving my software development background and trying to go full time into events. And I feel that I can make use of this money to start off with that.
Excellent. Let's see if we have any questions and answers from the audience? Okay, no questions so far. If not, then that will end our open house for the day. Thank you so much, Tanvir, for coming on and sharing information about your website, which a
Mhm.
lot of people are very interested in. And thank you, everybody, for attending today. And